Hello and welcome to American Dreamland. I'm Max Chavez.
And I'm Misty Stone.
Christopher Walken.
You know who I'm not ungodly angry at anymore? The UFO community. And that is because I've been enlightened, I've been praised, and I've seen the light thanks to a little something that Misty has told me about while we've been prepping our previous UFO episodes. So, Misty, would you like to explain the path, the way, how
Yeah,
we
of
reach the fifth
course.
dimension?
Well, it's not us reaching the fifth dimension per se, but Max, Chris, I added some photos for your viewing pleasure in our chat of our ancestor. Well, not our ancestors, I guess. What would they be? Our future selves? Uh,
Descendants.
our descendants. As you can see, these are the P-47s and the P-52s. So, one of the theories with, disclosure coming up again and the missing scientists coming up has brought out the resurgence of these P-47s and P-52s. And what this stands for is present plus 47,000 years in the future and present plus 52,000 years in the future. So these are images of our descendants, 47,000 and 52,000 years in the future. Now, one of the quote unquote missing scientists, Amy Eskridge, who we talked about in our previous episode, just for our audience to remember, Amy Eskridge was studying anti-gravity.
Yep.
And she unfortunately took her own life in 2022. Her name comes up a lot in the missing scientist conspiracy. She did, as we talked about in our previous episode, she did have a company that was researching anti-gravity science for what it's worth. And she would go on lives, and I will say this is in my opinion, in these lives, she seems to be inebriated. So take that for what it's worth. But she talks about the P-47 and P-52. So some people say, and what Amy says in these videos, is that the aliens we see, and the UFOs we see, are not extraterrestrials, they're ultra-terrestrials. And these ultra-terrestrials are actually us visiting ourselves from the future. They're our descendants visiting ourselves from the future. And these P-47 and P-52s faced a calamity. There's an upcoming calamity that humanity will face. It's unavoidable for us. We will face this calamity. Some of us will hide underground and survive, while the rest will survive on top of the surface.
So, I get,
So, no, wait. So, do the underground future humans, like at night, do they come and then just like take the above ground ones and like eat them?
No. So, well, we don't really. So, there's different theories. So,
Did Max catch that?
yes, you are clearly referencing H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. Also very funny, it's like I made a sly cool reference. You did mention it in the group chat, but so I don't want to take too
You
much
know what?
credit.
Do not
I
do not mess with the show with artifice. Come on,
I
you're
hey, I'm giving you credit for the idea. I'm trying to say don't no, you were the originator of this. Also I was gonna make a comment. It's like, yeah, God forbid, Chris, that someone doesn't explicitly rip off the plot of a movie like so many of these whistleblowers that we've encountered in the past.
yeah. At least they're ripping off like a very old, like I would say one of the first sci-fi novels ever written,
And
instead of like a movie that came out
uh
when they were a kid.
that's maybe her mistake because she's copying something from the public domain. Like, at least when you're stealing obscure plot points from the X-Files, you have to be a freak like us who has like watched deep into season 6 where they start
That's
talking about
yeah,
stuff.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So it's good. It's been really popular, and a lot of people will go on these rants on TikTok and on Reels, and they'll bring in like Higgs boson and CERN and
Maybe
talk
we should start
about.
doing a video podcast
You
because
no no
literally
no. Okay, so particle accelerators are like a thing that just eats up so much funding for physics. And I'm so sick of it because like you think if we've we've tried to like slam particles together for the past I don't know how long, and you think we would have figured out all we could from that by now, but apparently we just need to build a bigger one. If we just build a bigger one, then we'll find the stupid particle or create a black hole that will end everything. And I'm just like I'm just sick of it.
I here's I think why we
See,
maybe
I know
need.
this is like my bachelor's was solid state physics, so
Oh,
like particle physics just gets all of the hype and it gets all of the the flashy like pop sci articles and shit.
yeah, I was just saying that's an argument for us doing a video podcast because literally the second Misty said particle accelerator, I start doing the fist bump of like, yeah, and you're just like, fuck this. Just massive jerk off motion. And I do say, like, this is in no way criticizing your opinion, but I think we need to continue to fund particle physics. I don't know the actual practical applications, but one, I
I
always
don't.
prefer funding science to war. And two, we get so many fun cranks of like, oh my God, CERN did this thing. And that's why we live in quantum Earth.
But the thing is, the particle physics is like indicative of the whole thing because it's a distraction, right? Um, Solid state is basically what all of our computer technology is built on, and that's the thing that's cooking everyone's brains.
Well, this shows why the sciences need to work together because the particle physicists are creating the environment where people will just come up with the most just batshit insane ideas, and it's the solid state physicists who create the means where that can be communicated instantaneously across the world.
True, true.
Mhm. We also, a lot of these theories around P47 and P52s also bring in Project Looking Glass. So, Project Looking Glass is an alleged classified US government temporal viewing program that purportedly utilized looking glass devices reverse engineered Einstein Rosen bridge accessing devices to observe probable events across the forward and rear event horizons of space-time for strategic assessment and timeline analysis. So I guess the project aimed to harness the Einstein-Rosen bridge and wormhole technology to observe probable future events and explore the physics of time distortion.
Hmm.
Do you want me to know why I don't think this program existed?
Why?
Because Looking Glass, oh, that's an old fancy name for an opera glass or a mirror. And also the famous Alice in Wonderland sequel, Through the Looking Glass. So it requires a certain kind of literary or cultural thing, and that's not how our military works. When we were gonna like, we literally are calling our war with Iran Operation Epic Fury. And at least like some of the old dumb names, or like at least directly referencing like Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Well, are either of you familiar with Dan Burrish?
No.
Because
No,
he's the
but
main whistleblower for Project Looking Glass.
oh my God. Did he also have a like David Gorge have a little bit of an oopsie that regardless of guilt or innocence would require your security clearance to be pulled, and then all of a sudden he's like, actually, here's an insane thing I found that distracts from whatever fucked up shit we're doing right now.
Well, he was a microbiologist who claims to have worked at S4 from the early 1990s with corroborating accounts from researcher Bill Hamilton and his source, Marcia McDowell, former U.S. Navy SEAL Bill Wood, and Secret Space Program insider Corey Good. And
So
according to Burrish,
I just want to clarify, because admittedly, I could have done a better job with the Bob Lazar episode, but you're saying that he has corroboration from coworkers at a place that we actually never even know if it exists or not. Like, notice how no one says, oh, Bob Lazar was right about S4, just, oh, I guess Bob Lazar did work for the federal government at some point. And then, I'm sorry, is one of the people giving him credibility part of the quote secret space program? Are those the
Secret
people,
Space Program,
the 20 and back people? Okay, have either of you two heard of this?
Then, but then
Okay.
it gets better because
we've just got another fucking
claimed,
UFO episode to do. I have to explain the secret space program to you people.
well, and then he explained that the Looking Glass technology came from instructions encoded on cylinder seals that slightly predated the Sumerian era. He said these were placed in the ancient past by future humans traveling through time to ensure that this technology would be developed and used.
This just sounds like Mormonism to me, but instead of like weird past stuff, it's weird future stuff.
This sounds like towards the end of the movie The Master, when they're about to have that conference in Arizona and they're just getting shit-faced in the desert because he's like, I have a hard drive here. We're going to find it. It's where the real secret notes are. So it's just these people are taking dumb things from movies and trying to like make it fancy.
We're just, yeah.
They're not even doing science fiction anymore. They're just doing Paul Thomas Anderson.
No. But for these people, this all goes back to Roswell. Roswell is like the first time we meet our descendants, the Greys, you know. The Greys are us. Truman meets them, apparently.
Imagine that hick meeting the future of humanity.
He got to hang out with them, according to some, and then the second group to arrive, the P-52s, some claim that the P-52s jumped ship, you know, after surviving the calamity, jumped off Earth, went to a different star system, and they came back here and arrived around the 1950s, signed a treaty with some leaders on Earth committed to protect the environment, and agreed to assist us by teaching us how to nurture our planet and prevent global warming. But this agreement was upheld until 2017. Now, Max and Chris, what happened in 2017?
Oh God, I really hope it's not Trump. I really hope it's just some other asinine bullshit. But if it's Trump getting fucking inaugurated and then aliens going, nope, I'm out, I might lose my shit.
I would make the argument that they weren't doing that great of a job prior to 2017 anyway. They weren't really stopping global warming.
Yeah. Also, I don't want to be like that guy because of, all the right wing bullshit, but, you know, China kind of accidentally killed millions of people with a famine that was not like the result of like any espionage or whatever. You feel that would be the one case of like aliens watching us going like, no, you're just being really dumb. Here's how you actually transition to industrial agriculture. Stop killing sparrows.
Yeah.
Like you think they would have come in and done that?
Yeah, they didn't, so, they just weren't doing a great job. There's also memos apparently noting that the Greys they were great at telepathic communication. They were able to influence empathetic feelings without touch. They didn't have to touch you to influence empathy, which I feel like people can also do that. I don't know. I don't think you need to be touched for that to happen, but what do I know? But
I,
this became known as Project Indigo Child.
That was the name of that. No, I don't know if it was Star Child or Indigo Child. Like when I took that Eastern religions class.
I think Star
I
Child
think
is like an actual religious or spiritual term that like got corrupted. And then Indigo Child is just a bunch of like New Mexico bisexual women who are in their 40s and are just like indigo has the right vibes. And if you're what is it like the color of your energy is indigo, you're special.
yes.
Or you're a gray alien.
So is the catastrophe, is it like it happens like in our far future still?
Or we don't know. I couldn't find anything about the catastrophe, the calamity. We don't. It's just that a lot of them say it's unavoidable. We don't really know why they come back. That that the catastrophe or calamity, whatever you want to say, happens and just causes these physiological differences. And it looks like either you believe that both of our descendants stay ugly, like become ugly, or one becomes the gray and one becomes a hot Nordic, 7 foot tall, blonde haired, blue eyed Chad.
It just always goes back to that. Like why?
I don't know.
Why?
So either you're on two sides theories. Either it's the first image, which we can put in our show notes, that or the second image I showed with the two on top of each other. It's either those two, both have big, more bulbousy heads with bigger eyes, still look a little humanoid, or it's the one where the gray and the Nordic alien are in a lab working side by side. And
you mean the dude who looks like the flute player from Mos Eisley's Cantina, and then the guy they would an AI rendering of if you wanted the caretaker from a Rocky Horror Picture Show to be in the gay porno parody of it. That picture.
Yeah. It's either you're on either side. So either you believe those are the two ways of.
It's the Crips and the Bloods, but for whether you go underground and be sexy or you go into space and become alien.
I think
or is it vice versa?
I think the surface ones become sexy.
Okay.
Makes sense.
But like I said, some believers think both stay like more gray, like stay like the Greys, like the surface and the underground dwellers become more bulbous eyes, big head, gray-like, and there is no hot alien.
Oh,
So it just depends on which track you believe in.
well, Misty, you're the one who's done research. Are we 47 or 52?
Well, so the 52s are the ones that left Earth immediately after the catastrophe. Now, and then this one claims they didn't settle a different star system, they settled the moon. It settled the moon first and then jumped to a distant star system.
Okay. If they were
And it
able to
was
figure out why to settle the moon, why did they need to colonize another star system?
it doesn't who knows? Who knows? Um the ones that so the Greys, they went underground, and I guess because you're underground, you have to have bigger eyes and a bigger head, maybe? I don't know. To survive the elements.
Um,
But then they also eventually migrate to a star system called Zeta Reticuli. So they also leave eventually. Who the fuck knows?
I mean, I guess it's not
Wait, and then
unimaginable that they can
no.
traverse the stars, if they can travel through time.
Then they still share the same base DNA, but of course they have at this point they've evolved separately a little bit. Like, I don't think they might not be able to produce children together anymore.
So they'd be different species.
Yeah.
Now
I know why conspiracy theorists love it. Horny and eugenics. Great combo.
Yep.
So, and allegedly, the Greys have landed in multiple locations across Earth simultaneously to meet with leaders of each nation. However, no government agency wanted to share the secrets handed down to them. Every landing site possessed a unique gift that the Greys shared with each respective leader, ultimately leading to the world's demise. It was the gift of knowledge. If we were kind to each other and we had used these knowledge for good and shared with each other, we allegedly could have constructed a machine that would be able to manipulate the fabrics of space and time, opening a window for faster than light travel.
So
Here we
they're
are.
basically proposing the future is bad because Forrest Whitaker's character in Arrival gets his way over Amy Adams.
Yeah, I guess so.
This is the worst fan fiction ever.
We are just petty, and we just have no foresight, and we cannot prevent the calamity / catastrophe.
I mean, we talked about it. People, especially in the core of the empire, are so dumb.
If only the US, China, and Russia could all get along and come together and accept anti-gravity technology.
Obviously. It's so we love to just be like contrarian, but we can't even like fight. We're so atomized at this point. Like, we can't just be contrarian. It's like, I'm sorry. You think that the aliens at Roswell were time travelers? You think there was only one group? Idiot.
Now, of course, a lot of people think they're coming to help us, right? That this is them like, hey, the Greys are helping us, the Nordics, they're helping us, sharing their technology. Some people don't trust them. as one does.
Shocked. I am shocked.
We don't like something that's different from us.
Well, the main problem I saw on this was that they're using wormholes to time travel is the main theory, that they're coming back through wormholes. This is fucking up with our timeline. People are going, you know how time feels all wonky now? Well, that's because it's the fucking P-47s and P-52s. They
It's
keep
so
time
weird.
traveling too much.
It's so weird that everyone in our rough age demographic suddenly feels like time is getting weird as we regularly consume something that is actively meant to destroy your sense of time and also age into a period where time just kind of naturally accelerates for people, at least from a subjective perspective if you read the literature.
But Max,
But
there's also
aliens.
how do you explain the Mandela effect then? And
Oh
it
my
has
god.
to be the P-47s and the P-52s fucking with our heads. It's their abuse of wormholes.
Okay, I just want to say a few
Fucking
things
with our
about this.
timeline.
Listen, I believe in the Mandela effect. It is obviously real, but it is alternate universes. And that is the reason I do not mispronounce the name of certain chip brands. Okay, it is not a speech impediment on my part, and I do know how to spell the word raccoon.
My
So
my memory is infallible. Like
I
has to
know how to
be.
spell
There has to be.
raccoon. It only has one C. Forget the fact that I'm probably dyslexic or whatever.
It has to be the P-47s and the P-52s. And my favorite TikTok theory was this woman saying, these aliens are ugly as fuck. They're ugly.
Is that a theory?
Well, it gets better. They're ugly. They haven't told us what's so great about their future timeline. She said it must take so much more brain power to create AI and smartphones.
Oh my god.
And all they're doing is jumping into wormholes. They didn't invent these wormholes, so they're probably just coming back in time because they want the AI again in the smartphones, and that's what they miss.
Wait,
And
so
they probably just don't want to be ugly anymore because she said if they had all this technology, why aren't they cute again? Why have they chosen to stay this ugly?
Yes.
um so wait, are they of the impression that like if I don't know, like say George Washington time traveled to the present and he just like adapted that he would just well, I'm from the past, so I'm just gonna keep wearing this weird uniform, opposed to like, oh, I'm here now. I'll change. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, they look normal to themselves. It's been 50,000 years.
No, but
Well, what?
what is important is what makes her pussy wet. That's the most important thing.
Come on, Max. Don't you think they look longingly at old photos of Pat like 50,000 years ago? They're like, fuck. We used to be
No.
Okay,
so hot. They came back really for moisturizer
I mean,
and plastic surgery
listen.
because they have telepathy and apparently technology that can get them to other star systems, but they can't be hot.
So
And that's really what they want.
there's no other alien civilization that can just be like, we can make you hot.
No, there's no,
Just jump on over.
it's again like it's like Dune. It's just descendants of humanity. We're alone. We're alone in the universe. It's just humans and our descendants.
Okay, then if it is like Dune, then they should know, speaking of making a lady's pussy wet, that remember how in God Emperor of Dune, uh Duncan Idaho is so good at climbing a wall or whatever that the like force lesbian like religious order of militant crusaders who protect the emperor is just like, fuck, I just came so hard watching that man climb a wall.
Yeah, Frank Herbert has some ideas about relations between men and women.
He was something.
Hey, the important thing is he created something that speaks to the heart of every 13-year-old boy, no matter the generation, and also didn't have such weird views on gay people that one of his sons defended his gay brother by utterly just torching the Dune franchise and any
I kind of
credibility it
want to
may have
read.
had.
I kind of want to read the what was its name? I feel like I could look up the highlights, like the best ones.
I bet you
Uh,
could.
Mm.
the weird thing is I think it is like it's entirely like all prequels or like random asides like The Lion King 1.5 or whatever.
Yeah, I love that
We
shit. That's the best.
like you
Oh,
don't need to know everything.
speaking of books, so there's kind of like in the foyer of the library, there was like a table that has like, oh, community book exchange. You just like grab a book or leave a book, and look what I found.
Hell yeah.
Goodness.
Witnessed the true story of the Brooklyn Bridge UFO abductions by Bud Hopkins.
All right,
Hell yeah.
folks. We found our first premium episode because you haven't given us enough money to buy the Stan Johnson book, so we can't do a book report on it yet. I'm sure we can. Misty and I can get a torrent of
I
that.
also
And
found this more serious one,
Ooh.
just a biography of Alan Turing, the man who knew too much. I don't know if I talked about this on the pod, but um I was just doing some random Googling about Alan Turing and like
the Turing
the Turing test.
test.
Well, I found out that his original Turing test, it wasn't that the person could tell whether or not it was a human or not. It was whether they could tell whether or not whether or not the AI could um could impersonate a woman, which
Hmm.
requires more Abram, which requires more like knowledge of like society and context on like what our cultural definition of a woman is, right? Which I think requires a lot more than just is this a person or not? Who knows? Can they form sentences?
I don't even know if we talked about it on the pod, but Richard Dawkins wrote an essay about how he made his version of Claude his girlfriend and thought
Hmm.
she was alive. So I don't, I understand, and I think that under normal circumstances in a normal society would be a great test to determine the intelligence of computers.
Yeah, I don't know,
No. Well,
but yeah, and I kind of knew this from like watching the movie The Imitation Game, but they sort of like typecasted him as like the um aloof, like arrogant genius. But when people would talk about him, like that actually knew him, said he was just really shy and like kind of, I guess, a little bit aloof, but not like an asshole or whatever. Anyway,
now, Max and Chris, what are your feelings around the P-47s and P-52s? Are you drawn to them? Are you...
no,
You're not feeling our UFO sightings are actually our descendants coming to us,
I
warning
mean, I
us.
kind of like that sci-fi concept. Like one of my favorite sci-fi books has that in it. The Left
Mm-hmm.
Hand of Darkness. Like in it, basically it's kind of like um I think it was like a higher being basically just seeded a bunch of planets with like
Oh,
humans,
right. Okay.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
then like this guy visits this planet with like a different type of human that's like this they're all I guess like literal hermaphrodites,
Mm.
right? Where they
Okay.
basically they have like like a mating cycle where like gets activated and then two of them are like, in proximity. One becomes male and one becomes female. It's really interesting. Anyway, so it's a pretty good sci-fi concept. But I just for like an actual belief system, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think it's too much like hat on a hat stuff. Like we were talking a little bit about this, but just so much of this bullshit is just like everything on top of everything on top of everything. Because it's not just these weird things are just us from the future, and that would, you know, time travel would explain a little bit of, oh, that's how we get past the light limit, the barrier of light speed. This is why it's things that are unexplainable. This is why something that supposedly evolved under extremely radical different conditions would be not only humanoid, but humanoid in a realistic way of our proportions. Like, even if they're super tall, like a 7 foot tall person can still mostly get about in our society because of our average heights and stuff. Like, it's uncomfortable, but it can happen. Whereas it's like, but also they're aliens and it's Zeta Reticuli. These people are just becoming like fucking comic book lore writers, where it is just like we have to explain everything. It can't just be like, well, this dude who may have smoked meth with Mel from Mel's Hole said that Zeta Reticuli was the star system that all aliens come from. You can just say they're us from the future. They're not from another star system. I don't have to care about Zeta Reticuli.
True.
Like, you can just
We
ignore
don't have to
shit
ever.
and pretend it's not real because a lot of it isn't, including
I,
money.
I think it's also just trying to justify it with your armchair physics and CERN and I don't. Where are we going with that?
I mean, I think
Are we?
we have strong anecdotal evidence that maybe they just want to slander people like the good Professor Brian Cox, because you just mentioned particle physics and Chris is just like, fuck particle physics, I'm solid state for life.
No, I'm not. I just want to say they get all of this funding to build. Just you just need to build a bigger particle accelerator. That's all we need. We just need a bigger one, and then we'll figure it out. I don't believe this. I don't think a bigger particle accelerator is going to do shit. Oh,
Yeah.
another thing about the like future of like humans evolution. There's a really good like sci-fi movie. It's really weird. It's like literally just Tilda Swinton like narrating with like weird visuals of like kind of brutalist like buildings. But it's called The Last and First Men. Um, and it's really good. It's like it's only like 80 minutes or something. Anyway, it
Tilda
basically just
Swinton.
her narrating like the that sort of broad timeline of like human evolution, like projected like millions of years in the future. It's very optimistic about um humans' ability to keep existing.
That's pleasant. Uh that's the complete opposite of the disclosure stuff I researched this week, which I've mentioned him before on the podcast, and just I want this man to be. There's two sources I should just start getting all of my right-wing news from because it's so much more fun than listening to actual like Newsmax or whatever. But Jesse Lee Peterson, which we went into depth last week, um and his hatred of the Pope being weak on crime because the Great White Hope told him to be. But also this guy named Coach Dave who got like fired from some school for like forcing his students to be Christian in the 90s. He had an episode about UFOs, which, folks, it had it all. It opened up with him complaining about how much he paid to fill up his gas tank, and him coming to the idea that money is not real and it is just a device used by the elites to create artifice and trap us into a system, which was not expecting. Proceeded to spend the next 10 minutes trying to lead his quote unquote congregation into Friday Communion, which is apparently a tradition on the stream, but had to spend a bunch of time explaining how the guy they usually do to have lead communion wasn't going to do it anymore because he lives in California and they film at like 7 a.m. on the East Coast. So it's like he was tired of having to wake up at 4 a.m. to do this. But I swear we didn't fire the guy under any circumstances. It's this weird explanation. Then just an explanation of the so then they're talking about the communion like Catholics. Also he takes calls, and one of the calls he takes later in the episode is, we have a new type of angry conservative guy. Long gone are the days of angry guy in a truck ranting. Now it's guy driving a truck ranting on another guy's show because he FaceTimed him while he was driving his truck.
They're evolving.
They're evolving. And again, I want to remind you both, this is the UFO episode. It's him talking about UFO disclosures. So after like half an hour of Bible talk, including what the role of communion is and how we totally didn't fire this guy, he attempts to talk about how the UFOs are real. Starts talking about the giant people. And how he thinks they may have found a modern tomb of giants in rural Ohio.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like 150 years ago. Goes on a weird rant about trans people. And
How
then
did that? You have any details about that?
Oh, I have so many details about that. So obviously, I guess I'll just get into it. Is like I think the thesis that he was promoting was how what we considered as aliens to be the Nephilim, and that the angels they came, they crossbreeded with our beautiful women. Part of this was because of corruption. He also I call it this guy's show. It is just him showing it is him just talking about his weird views of the Bible and then showing vaguely related clips of other psycho-religious people on like TikTok.
How does that relate to trans people?
Oh, right. So, basically, trust me, it takes a while to get there, buddy. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
So angels made women like looking pretty and do witchcraft or whatever, and then they fucked angels, and then the angels and ladies made Nephilim. And then, because the Nephilim were bigger than like all of the skyscrapers, they ate a lot. And then the giants got mad and they started eating people. And then they're like, oh, it's too weird to eat people. We have to do genetic experiments so we can still worship the giants, but also, I don't know, survive the giants. We have to do genetic experiments. And then God went to Noah and he had to build himself an arky because the genetic engineering was corruption. So he had to just wipe the slate clean.
Okay.
He then starts saying, like, I don't know the exact connection, but it is we're altering genetics
Um,
because of that. And then I guess God is going to come back. And then he kind of took a beat and he said, like, and I think that shows we're on the edge of revelation because there are 4 types of aliens. we got the grays, we got the people, we got the lizards, and we got the bugs.
all right.
What?
And I think it.
Well, so no. He says that like trans people are altering their genetics, but then you
Yes.
also get the transphobes that say that we can never change our chromosomes. So like, which one is it?
Yeah, that's where I'm confused. How
he's both. He says, "What's the set?" He literally. I don't know if he has multiple producers or he just picked up the phone of people trying to call him, and he was like, "What's the sex chromosome? The chromosome that makes you sex? I don't know."
So is he one that believes only women can be seduced by the Nephilim?
I don't. Oh, so wait. This is the other thing. Is someone said, I don't know how, because I was a recording, so I didn't see the chat or anything. But he's like, a lot of people are bugging me and saying, "Hey, wait a minute, angels can't have sexual relations with women because they're angels." To which he said, "Your flaws. You're thinking like a human." Like, I'm not saying that angels had sexual relations with women. I'm not saying they did or didn't. What I am saying is angels have powers. And that from an angel's perspective, what produces a baby is not how we as humans would think about it.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Interesting. So I theoretically could have a child with the rings with all the eyeballs.
Yes.
Sick. I wonder what kind of kid that would produce. I think I would name it Eiley.
Eiley?
I don't want to be someone to judge a non-conventional relationship or anything, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, how do you know?
Have you talked?
How do you know? Would it treat me poorly? Like, is this angel? No. We don't know. Like, maybe it's a good partner.
See, this is definitely the, like, I can tell I'm in my late 30s and you all are in your early 30s still. Because let me actually finish with what my fucking criticism was going to be, is how does your fiance feel about you fucking and making a little Eiley? Because I know you two don't really want kids and you're monogamous. So are you opening it up just for the eye angel? Is it any celestial being?
I feel like
what is the mythology we're using?
If you have the option to like open up your relationship to a literal angel, like I feel like you're obligated to do so.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm thinking of it. It's like this great being. It's like, damn, like what? How do you pass up that opportunity? It's like shit. This otherworldly beings, like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you saying that, like, if Metatron, the voice of God, came down, you don't know how you would be able to reject him? Sounds like a power imbalance. Not a great power dynamic. Are we sure everyone's consenting
yeah, and that's
here?
why it's hot.
Yeah. I feel the same way with Lucifer, because it's like, damn, that's crazy. I mean, and it feels kind of special, right? It's like, out of all the girls in the world, you picked me.
I broke him.
Oh,
How
You get to
goes
feel
hot?
special.
it's you know what it
You
is.
feel special. Wouldn't you feel special if God chose you? If
Uh,
Lucifer chose you, a celestial being was like, Max, I chose you to have my baby.
I kind of want to like tie in out
You're
like
the only one. Max, you're the only one that can have my fucking baby. You have to, please, 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 please.
okay, Misty, that's different because my identity and orientation is cishet, except if I get to be God's pretty little trad wife. Like that's my
It's a fucking
orientation,
angel.
so
Hey, hey,
it's the one pass I've put into myself.
it's a fucking angel. It can do anything.
Oh yeah.
It's an otherworldly being with mystical powers.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
All pass
My
for an angel.
my my a lot of my brain has been broken because of all the Jesse Lee Peterson I subjected myself to last week. That's it's so good. Yeah, nope. You know what? I'll take the L on this one. Angels, tentacle monsters, glips, whatever. It's hot, and the
Uh,
more power they have to warp reality, the more I consent with no ulterior motives whatsoever to please them.
I mean, you're
They're not
saying
going
if
to warp
this,
reality, but the implications. Jesus
you're
Christ.
saying this thing, it comes down and talks to you, and you're like, fuck, I don't. You at least have to consider
Misty
it
just
because it's
posted
like,
a drawing of the eyes and the wings angel. Just the
mhm.
Yeah.
rings of eyes, and then how many
Well,
6 wings?
I feel like,
Mhm.
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 6 wings and a couple rings with the eyes. Because I think you just have to consider it because it's like shit. Because it's either like, oh shit, this is happening, or I'm having psychosis and I finally lost it.
I mean, you're
It's one
forgetting
or the other.
you're forgetting the real reason why I would reject this angel, which is that I'm not a homosexual, and we all know that that's a dude
You
angel.
don't know
And
what you don't know
No,
that it's
no,
an it.
no,
No,
no.
the
it doesn't have a
no,
gender. It doesn't
no.
understand the concept of gender.
Um, are, oh, hold on. Are we talking about a biblical angel? Because the authority, Coach Dave, seems to think that everything's pretty gendered. He's not
Coach
talking
Dave is
about,
an idiot.
No, see,
and
I feel
that's
like
what makes him a
the
genius.
the gendered angels is just influenced from Greeks.
I mean, I was gonna
Yeah.
make the joke that the lady angel is the one that's the dude's head, the lion, and the goat that has like a weird body. I was gonna mention a different monstrosity angel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that thing definitely has no gender.
No, I don't think so. I don't see any gendered signifiers in that.
Really? I can't believe you
Mm,
two are thinking so binary. Just because it's not mask or femme, it's without gender.
don't start with
Oh, I'm
very hard.
sorry. I can't do a joke about angel when we're on a rant about angel fucking.
I will get way too serious about it.
God damn it. All right, fine. Anyway, a man with brain damage was convinced that the Giants of Kabul are somehow in Ohio, and it's because they had sex with ladies, and that's why the Noah's flood happened. And somehow, because trans people are the next coming of Noah's flood, this somehow explains why we have reptile and bug angels that the president is going to disclose soon.
Mm, mhm.
Mm.
Also, I know it's been a while, but he also said this very funny thing when he was complaining. Um, so Chris, he said that going to heaven was like being part of a sports team, in that
Mm,
not everyone got the same reward, but when you got
mm.
to heaven, you were going to have your MVP, but you were also going to have your best improved, but some of us were just going to be at the dinner. Does that relate to
Well,
your upbringing?
I think I've told you about my sort of belief that like watching sports is cuck shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so you're watching like guys actually do the thing, so that's cuck shit, right? So I'm trying to
Mm,
think if you're watching the MVP in heaven, watching the guy get the MVP thing, I feel like
well,
still
it
kind of
is. I guess my thing is because I'm not deranged and kinky like the other hosts of this podcast. Is that I thought it was that there would be a hierarchy in heaven, kind of
mm,
whereas I always thought just like
which cucks love, right?
that is
There
okay.
has to be a
Yeah.
hierarchy for them to get off on being at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And guess what? I'm gonna be pretty high up if I have that angel's baby, so watch
Yeah,
out.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna be pretty high
Uh
up there.
I don't know. It depends on how good of a mother you are because we're talking about the heavenly system, which means there's no family court. Uh to be able
Who
to
gets
screw that
custody of the
hardworking.
Nephilim?
Who does get custody in this scenario? Like, am I
No, I'm
expected
Do
to
now
raise
thinking
them?
of Maori, Maury or whatever, but Angel, and then you are not the. And then the spinning eyes is just like they start spin faster. Like,
I feel like that's probably a Beetlemoss webcomic, but yes, we need to make
probably.
that. No, you know what it is actually gonna be is you are going to be abandoned and have to raise the child yourself, but it's like Sean Connery's character in the movie The Rock, where during one of his stints where he escapes from prison, he knocks up a lady at a Led Zeppelin concert. If you want to talk about cuck shit, oh my god, I forgot how much the movie The Rock just sucks off the military. Just giving a big wet sloppy one to the dick of all the armed services. Like,
I think uh I think this phrase has been going on around a lot. It's like just fascism is just being gay with your dad, right? I
yeah,
feel like
oh my god.
Michael Bay is very being gay with your dad type shit.
It
Yeah.
is it is the dudes who have like the biggest hard on for the military, but like flunked out of ROTC in high school. But are like, I would have been great in the Gulf War or whatever. Because in The Rock there is a scene where they're like, oh, we're Black Op Marines and we're doing terrorism. But there's like a 20-minute Mexican standoff where like the Marine general is like, we're just trying to get reparations for soldiers who died fighting America's wars. And then the Navy SEALs are like, I agree with you, General, but I have orders because I took an oath. And it's just like everyone is like the most morally pure. Aren't these fellas great? Everyone is right for shooting the other one type bullshit. Um, and also it's one of the few movies you can tell that Nicolas Cage was doing cocaine but not doing the entire movie on cocaine, because like there are definitely some cocaine scenes in that movie.
Which we love. Which we love.
We love. So what have we learned from the recent disclosure and the files
uh,
released?
Aliens have
aliens.
no. The future human aliens have to be sexy
Right,
to that
obviously.
specific woman. To that specific woman, right? Just
It
her.
always has to go back. It always has to be a blonde-haired, blue-eye, 7-foot alien.
Or I don't know who this woman is, but given what I assume to be her age demographics and the fact that she's a TikTok user, it it could also be like a really buff, tall, sexy black dude. It's one of those two
Okay.
exclusively. And I think we need to figure out which one, if the fate of the universe is based on this woman wanting to fuck one of our future descendants, we got to figure out which that is.
I mean, it would be nice to get away from the white supremacy of aliens, of it only being the Nordic.
This is
It,
coming from someone, my last name is Locken. That
yeah,
is Nordic. I am Nordic.
yeah.
So I have full authority to say we're not that.
Just despite the fact that I've explicitly said I don't want to judge, and my girlfriend is the editor for the podcast, I'm also going to say is like, look at this woman say, I don't want to fuck any of these like P-47s or whatever, and then watch her have just the most busted ass balding boyfriend or husband of all time.
We all want what we can't have.
Mm. For her, it's an orgasm, and I guess that's a problem
Hey,
for
hey,
untold
her
generations.
ugly husband could be great at giving her orgasms. You don't.
Here's the thing. If we're going to talk about sexual or not sexual, attractiveness disparity in a relationship, um, usually when one of the partners is saying, man, I'm really thinking a lot about fucking my descendants 52,000 years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I just generally think that that's, not something that indicates a woman is being sexually satisfied. I really need to call in to this Rumble live stream while I'm driving my car in the middle of the road to complain about how people are reading the Bible wrong in this UFO episode.
Could you call into his show?
No, I should.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, actually,
not?
I actually, because the guy he totally didn't fire from his show stopped doing it because you'd have to get up at 4 a.m. And I'm in California, so. Oh yeah, Coach Dave, I'll message you on our official Rumble account. That's why we were talking about that.
Coach Dave, we can talk about how and why women are susceptible to angels.
Ooh, the two shows we have asked to be on, Jesse Lee Peterson and Coach Dave. Who do you think hates women more?
They probably hate women
Jesse Lee
equally, I
Peterson.
imagine.
Yeah, I don't think.
You think so?
Every weird thing from Coach Dave has just been the normal psychosexual insecurities of conservative men. I don't see anything like, you a female. Amazing. Beta.
I see. Okay. Okay. Well.
Oh yeah. So what have we learned from Disclosure? That we have a lot more fun being cruel to people.
I think I learned that we've like lost the fun of UFOs and aliens lately. The fun's getting sucked out of everything. I am kind of sick of using pseudo-science physics to try to explain dumb shit.
I've been sick of that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Chris, the Philadelphia experiment. I don't know how you by yourself were able to do the meme of Colin Farrell about to shoot himself in Bruges with his friend behind him, but you did.
I did. Like I kind of know why everyone goes to physics for like all of the like pseudoscience stuff, because it's seen as like the branch of science that can explain all the other ones. Like if people say everything's downstream of physics, but what they don't understand is that like almost everything in physics, like when you learn it, especially at first, like the scenarios that you think about are so simplified that you can't directly apply that to like actual situations most of the time. Like if I actually wanted to explain a biological process using physics, it would take so much effort, an extreme amount of effort, because you'd have to get so much detail, like in physics, to be able to explain how those things are moving. And it's so annoying when people just like, yes, all of these simple physics things can explain everything, and they're just extrapolating and they're not making the actual connections between things.
Well,
Anyway,
seems like a good reason for our next deep dive to go into occultism and witch talk because
yeah, I love that
because
shit.
those bullshit terms have meaning and won't piss off, like, I don't know, maybe it will piss off actual witches, I don't know. Well, what I've learned from these disclosure episodes rather, is I'm really glad I have therapy tomorrow because I have clear anger issues I need to work out. And also, apparently, Slippy Toad is a much more formative memory in my childhood than I initially believed because of that one ugly ass congressman who, again, I do not respect you enough to ever learn your name. You're a piece of shit. I hate you.
Mm,
So, what horrible sexual
see.
abuse do you think we're going to find in Witch Talk?
Ooh.
I don't. Hmm.
Mm,
I don't know if we'd find anything really.
Okay, you say that.
Yeah, but like witch talk is just like they just usually just predict shit and then are wrong about it.
like Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly what I see, they just predict shit like the election results and are wrong. Or they tell people like, hey, your dog used to be in his past life was like a farmer and you were married to him and that's why you two are so close.
I would argue that an excuse for white ladies to fuck their dogs counts as sexual abuse. And with that, for American Dreamland, I'm Max Chavez.
And I'm Misty Stone.
I'm Christopher Walken.
Aren't you glad you came back for that now?
Yeah,
Okay. Let me.
you bet.
Okay, someone wants to get fed because Rogue has spent the last like 10 minutes of the recording just like all up on my
I
shit.
need to see her. I need to see her again.
Okay.